So I often ask people, where do you feel most calm, most creative, most productive? And they sit and they think, I say, were you thinking of your office? And 98% of people say no, they're thinking about somewhere else. They're sitting next to a lake or looking out to sea or sitting at home. But rarely do they say the office. So clearly an opportunity exists here for us to create better places to live and work. For a long time, I was interested in how we use basic resources like gas, water, and electricity, a very carbon-centric approach to sustainable design. But increasingly now, I've become more interested in more human-centered elements, such as health and well-being, and in particular, biophilic design. Biophilia means a love of nature and is a subject that was first popularized by the American psychologist Edward O. Wilson back in the 1980s. When he recognized society's departure away from rural dwelling and moving towards the cities and the many psychological problems that was starting to bring. So as a result, biophilic design is how we use elements of this in design to create a stronger human connection with nature and natural processes. In offices where biophilic design elements exist, people report a 15% higher level of well-being, so they say they're feeling better. As a result, they're probably going to be more engaged and more productive. In fact, they're going to be 6% more productive and 15% more creative. So how do we create that? We find ways for people to access natural light and to sit in natural light. We find ways to allow them to sit and look out onto nature, to have a closer connection to nature. And if that's not possible, then we find ways of creating indirect forms of nature. So it might be stone cladding on the walls, might be about introducing timber surfaces on tabletops or on floors or wall cladding. But it's also about recognizing that as human beings, we need to create landscapes that cater for a range of human emotions throughout the day. There are three key aspects to introducing biophilic design. Firstly, it's about a direct connection to nature. So it's things like a connection to water, to natural light, to views onto greenery. Secondly, it's about those indirect connections. When we live and work in urban areas, we very often don't have good access to real forms of nature. So it's about how we introduce natural colors, textures, and patterns. And lastly, it's about the human emotive response. We all know as human beings that buildings have an intense impact on our mood, our behavior, and the way we feel. So it's really about how we get people to sit and interact with elements of nature to create calming, energizing, recuperative, or restorative environments.